Hi, my name is Cecilia Montesdeoca, and thanks for tuning into my podcast episode for the Stevenson Center. In this episode, I'm going to tell you a bit about myself and some previous service work experiences, how I came to apply to the Stevenson Center, and I'm serving as a pioneer student for the Anthropology program. And then I'm going to tell you a bit about what I'm doing in my fieldwork year as a community organizer with Dakota Resource Council, where I help organize communities that are impacted by oil and gas extraction. So to start off, I'm from Bloomington Normal, which is where ISU is located. I did my undergrad in cultural anthropology and community health education. I started off at a community college and then transferred to ISU to finish my degree. Before I transferred to ISU, I was actually backpacking around South America and had this huge trip planned. And I ended up staying for 9 months in Peru, working for a nonprofit. This community was impacted by an earthquake in 2007, and I arrived in 2010. So we were still doing disaster recovery work, but then turned to do more long-term community development work with more community resources involved. And I worked as a project manager with that organization. And it was a huge turning point in what I wanted to do and realizing that I loved doing community work, and whatever I did in school had to tie into that somehow. So I transferred over to ISU after that experience in Peru, where I finished my degree and had a great experience there. And after I finished my undergrad, I took on a year with AmeriCorps through the Illinois Public Health Association AmeriCorps program, where I worked with McLean County Health Department here in Bloomington Normal in their emergency preparedness division. I mainly worked to help with a state-funded grant to make sure that we hit all of our benchmarks to ensure that our community was prepared if an emergency was ever going to happen. And towards the end of that year, I did a lot more community outreach, which I really enjoyed, focusing a lot on a summer outreach program for kids. And basically, I turned all of the FEMA curriculum, which was all worksheets, into a game for each worksheet and hosted a game day with different organizations throughout the summer with kids. And it was a really great experience, and I loved being out in the field and working directly with people. And it was just a reminder that, I want to be out in the field. Whatever I do needs to be directly working with people in some capacity. After that, I actually applied to the Stevenson Center for the political science program, and I was accepted. And I was put in a really interesting position because I had just found out about AmeriCorps and NCCC and had applied to be a team leader out in Denver, but I wouldn't know if I would be offered the team leader position until I had to make a decision for the Stevenson Center. So I actually came in and talked to Beverly about it, and she told me that, grad school will always be here, and if kind of a call to service was what I felt more drawn to do at that time, then that's what I should do. And she was an NCCC alum and said that if she could do it again, then she would. And I really appreciated that transparency and honesty and just respect for boots on the ground service work. And I ended up being offered the team leader position in Denver, where I led a team of 11 young adults from across the United States to do different service projects in 4 different states across the Southwest. A beautiful year, got to see a lot of the country, got to help my team set roots in a lot of different communities and do great work for different organizations and different causes. And it was great. I had a super solid team. And I actually saw that there was flyers for the Stevenson Center out at AmeriCorps NCCC in Denver, so it was just great when everything aligned to be invited to apply to be the pioneer student for the anthropology program. I was really satisfied with how the first year on campus turned out. I had a beautiful group of people in our cohort, and I think that we really took advantage of learning from one another's previous experiences of Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, and really saw the opportunity to grow with one another and to continue to do work with one another to the point where we're still in pretty good contact now during our field year and interested in reading one another's papers and projects and just giving insight where we can. So it's a great cohort. I think that's one of the best things about the Stevenson Center is the group of people that are on your journey with you. So for my field year, I'm working as a community organizer with Dakota Resource Council, which is a nonprofit in North Dakota that works with farmers, ranchers, landowners, and concerned citizens who want to help shape public opinion and influence public policy on issues related to oil and gas extraction, agriculture and food, and clean energy. So I am one of 2 oil and gas organizers, and we work with communities that are in the northwest part of the state where the actual Bakken shale is that they actually extract from. We predominantly work with rural communities and indigenous communities to help them put that pressure on their elected officials at the local, state, and federal level to make sure that the everyday people's voices are heard when it comes to these policies, because there's the voice of industry and the voice of corporation and money is much louder at this point than the voice of the people. But it's the voice of the people that should influence democracy the most. That's how democracy is supposed to work. You work to get someone elected, and you continue to work with them so that they vote, or so that they truly represent you. And that direction is rather lost in North Dakota, where it seems that elected officials aren't really interested in the everyday people. That's what I gather so far, at least. But it's great. It's a great position, especially with the movement of, Standing Rock against the Dakota Access Pipeline. History is being written out there, and it's amazing to be a part of it. And DRC works a lot to help build bridges with the tribal leadership at Standing Rock and with the other reservations in North Dakota. And to be able to go down to Standing Rock and to be part of demonstrations in Bismarck and to help coordinate community forums with the tribal chairman it's undescribable, I think, and really thankful and to be out there. And I would have never predicted that this opportunity would have come to me, and that I could be such an active part of what's going on out there as part of my work, and then just on my own time as well. It's definitely one of the most challenging experiences I've ever had being out there, and being part and in this over militarized state and seeing everything that the state is setting up against people. But I think it just is more empowering to work with people and help organize people so that they can really come together and be a loud voice. No, not a loud voice yet, at least a voice that's heard. And looking into the future, it's going to be amazing and a great selling point, so to say, to be able to tell people in the future that I was a community organizer organizing on issues of oil and gas at the time of Standing Rock. And to say that I was able to do that as part of my master's program it was a real blessing, because I don't think I could have asked for a position like this if just looking at the job market. So I still have 6 months left, and I'm really excited to see how it goes. And I'm working on a collaborative project with DRC as part of my thesis, focusing on how DRC is able to provide an alternative discourse to this loud oil industry, and how do we focus on the people, because that's what matters. So that's really all I have for you in this podcast. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can email the Stevenson Center and ask for my contact information. I would love to tell you more about the Stevenson Center or some of the work that I'm doing out in North Dakota. And just answer any questions that you guys have. I'm totally open, and I think that's a great thing that the Stevenson Center also sets up for everybody. So please take the time to read or listen to my other friends' podcast through the Stevenson Center, and we hope that you apply. Thanks. Bye.